just kind of vibing with them and what have you. The young boys encouraged me, right? And they're like, man, should definitely do it. So man, I ended up writing something, real quick off of something, man. I actually, man, I enjoyed it. I mean, I enjoyed just even be a part of it.
Say he was feeling good, huh?
I sure was, man. I sure was, bro.
That's how it's supposed to be, man. How it's supposed to be.
Really dope. Like a craft or riding a bike or what have you.
Say they 2 minutes away.
You wanna do a mic check and see how we sounding? You want to live in now? I'm gonna start, sharing it out. It's live now, so if you see it on YouTube or what have you, you got the YouTube.
Yeah.
So people may be chiming in on different levels, different perspectives. So yeah, they be on Facebook. And then Junior,
It's live.
Yeah, it's
shit
live
started
now.
soon. Hey, Junior, come here real quick.
That's it right there.
We sound good. How we sound on there?
Sounded good.
Hey, they got some brothers coming in, so once you be in position. Mic checking and mic checking.
Might check 1 2.
Mic check 1 2.
Hey, I sound how we sound.
Maybe you got to rap a little bit. Go
Yeah,
ahead,
man, yeah, we
drop
got
them
a
old
freestyle.
bars real
Wow, you got a
quick.
freestyle in you, bro?
I rise, give honor to the Holy Father, the
Come
King
on
of
now,
all Israel.
okay.
My name is Deacon Jewell Griffin on the ones and twos.
Let's go.
We
Let's
put
go.
God first in everything I do.
Come on, man.
The DJ.
Come on, baby. That was perfect.
You are good. You are good.
That was perfect.
Shoot. That's good.
No static.
That's what we like to hear. That's what we like to hear. 1 2 3 4 5.
Tap in, everybody. We just in here, just getting everything situated. Got our brothers out, man. Out just came from actually a phenomenal event. We both have, man.
Right.
They was
Yeah.
definitely at the temple, and so we got some more brothers coming in.
Correct.
And so we're gonna have a phenomenal general conversation as always on the Fli-City Blackout. So just keep tuning in with us. Give us a few minutes to get it started.
They said they outside. Holla, holla, holla.
Now your day's been going well.
They've been going good, man. You
Mhm.
know, every day above ground is a good day.
Yeah,
Amen.
you
You
right.
know, so
Right
it's
about
it's,
that.
it's been real phenomenal today. It's good
Mhm.
coming out here. We ain't been to Flint in a while. I think it's Deacon Juwan first time at the Flint Temple, maybe.
Yes. Yes.
So
Really?
yeah.
Yes.
Welcome to Flint Town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know you may definitely heard of some stories of Flint, man, but it's always good to come and see the city itself, man. Flint is just like a mini Detroit, man. Flint was like the vehicle city. Detroit was the motor city, right? Both manufactured cars and came up off of that type of industry. But the thing is, man, we've always been two of the same kinds, though, right? We just down the street, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
amen.
Hey, that's that easy.
right.
So
Uh, just tapping in real quick. Tap in, tap in.
This future is bright.
Trying to change the narrative around here, man.
Man. Well, it's important for us to have our, have these kind of channels and media anyway, because for a long time we haven't controlled the message. So
Yeah,
it's important. It's important to direct the narrative, in the fashion you think it should be, or
real
know
talk.
it should be. Honestly,
I'm telling you.
so
Otherwise, they gonna do it for you, man, and
if you ain't telling your story, somebody for sure gonna tell it for you.
they gonna tell it, and maybe in a different perspective than I guess what you have viewed it as, right?
Right.
So it's vital, man. Especially talking about black media, like and just having media, just period, man.
Yeah, it's important, man. We haven't ran it for a long time. A lot of us scared in our own communities because of the media. Scared
Mm-hmm.
our own people because of the media. When
Come
in
on,
fact,
speak
it's
up.
not even like that.
Right.
Even not just news media. Entertainment media. Because at the end of the day, the entertainment's on the programming also.
Come on, man.
So
Come
we all
on,
have been programmed and brainwashed
man.
to believe certain things. So it's important for us to carry the messages for ourselves. So,
I'm trying to tell you, and I think we starting to really understand that. I think folks
oh yeah.
is really starting to kind of know
Wake
that.
up.
Yeah, wake up, bro.
Gotta wake up.
Wake up, wake up. So we got some people tapping in with us.
Oh yeah. Y'all come on in. We're gonna be here for a good moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we tag these other brothers in, so y'all come and hear what we gotta say too.
That's right. That's right.
For a hot second.
That's right.
Hanging on and Flynn with the one and only good brother Dewan Robinson.
Come on, brothers.
Dewan
Man.
E. Robinson.
Come on.
What the E stand for?
The E stand for Eric.
Eric.
Mm-hmm.
Go Dewan Eric Robinson.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. I'm about to say Earl or something.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I throw that out there on you.
Hey.
I'm gonna give you one of them old
right. You know what I'm saying? Man, I actually, man, I heard that before, man. Eric is the name of my actually is my father's middle name, so I guess that was a way that they wanted to pay reverence to him. So we take it.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you got some people tapping in already saying, "What's going on, brother Turner, man? We see you out there. We about to get started here in 1 second, man. We just kind of got some few transitions coming into the studio.
Right.
We see folks tapping in, man, and so they be asking questions and stuff and different things. You got about 12 people on right now, but they'll be
it's whenever
you're
ready to go. Shoot, 12 is good.
Yeah,
12,
right.
It was 12 tribes.
Right.
Shoot, so 12 a good number too.
There you go. Okay. Okay.
Got 15 tribes now.
Man,
Going up.
we appreciate everybody tapping in. What's up, brother?
What's going
How
on?
you doing? Yeah, you in the right place.
Yeah. We gonna tap y'all in. We gonna probably do a quick 5-10 minutes to tap y'all two in. Come on up.
Can you come here? I need to
Yeah, the superstars that came in, y'all. Me and the good brother right here, we just placeholders.
We're just placeholders here waiting for the real entertainment.
Can you get my phone charged?
We here to to bring some man on that's greater than us.
Yeah.
We like John, and we ready to bring Jesus on the scene. People think that we know a little something, but we really just here to bear the good news and get people ready for what is to come.
Man, y'all some very, very intelligent brothers, man, and don't let them fool you, man. Them brothers is cream of the crop. A plug over there.
Call him. This John 1, and I'm John 2. We about to bring Jesus on, Jesus, whatever we want to call him.
Come on now. And these brothers just coming.
Jewell. Bringing on Marquine and Malcolm. It's a new day.
Right.
We all walking books of the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. I think, man, is it plugged in, son? Can you plug up one of those in for me? And, how y'all brothers doing, man? Okay, we got some more brothers in the studio, man. Y'all gonna get a chance to chop up game with them and hear their story, but then also, man, just kind of vibe and network. So we definitely look forward to getting here started very soon. So All right, all right. We can just dive right in, right? I was gonna play the video, but I think the energy is right, man. I think folks just they really hear the topic and they really get to it, right? So definitely though, man. Welcome to another Fli-City Blackout presentation, broadcast, conversation. I am your host, Dewani Robinson, and it's always a pleasure to be here in the city of Flint, man, and just kind of continue to put out the message in the airways. It's very important. Like me and the brothers were just talking about how valuable it is to be able to have your own source of media, right? You having those conversations, those dialogues that's going to actually come from your perspective. So that's what we do here, right? And so today, man, we got some magnificent light beams, some brothers, man, some visionaries, man. And so, man, I'm just excited just to, engage in conversation, but then also talk about what they have going on, what's next, right? How you can connect, and then also some testimonies in between all that, right? So without further ado, man, I definitely want to give y'all a big shout out, man, always to the whole group. And then also, man, our special guest, man, and family. My brother, man, the brother been on the grind for a long time, man. He's been doing it since a young age and at a high level, and that's very commendable. And this is what the young generation need to see, right? Sometimes we get distracted by a number of different things in life, right? We can kind of fall into life vices, those type of things, right? But there's nothing wrong with that, right? Is as long as you can go ahead and make impact and lead this world better than how you found it, and that's what we ask for. So I definitely, man, always give big love to the brother, man, because he deserve it. And you want to give flowers while folks can smell them, right? So, man, definitely, man, shout out to my brother Jewell Jones, who was a former state representative out there in was District 11.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And has been doing phenomenal things even beyond representing constituent base, but in entrepreneurship, building ways of making brothers come together and create some type of opportunities and entrepreneurship, just community building, right? Just a force on every level, man. So let's make some noise for our brother Jewell Jones in the house. Come on, baby. Come on.
Well, I rise to give honor to the Holy Father, the King of all Israel. Say I'm indeed glad to be here, brother. It's always a blessing to be not only in Flint with you. There's been a few times I've been in Flint with you, but anywhere we find ourselves, in town, out of town. Mm-hmm. And I definitely appreciate the warm words. I'm really here because I definitely wanted to hop on and had a conversation with you in chat. Mm-hmm. But I brought some brothers with us tonight, that we looking forward to hearing from.
Come on now.
Who one of them is new to the area, and I want to make sure y'all get a chance to connect, so y'all can have some things going on out here in these neighborhoods. But it's just important, brother, for us to get on the same page. A lot of times we get caught up with uniformity and unity, and a lot of people stuck with the uniformity, trying to be like other folks, trying to do the same thing. But it's really beauty in our diversity. We just got to figure out how can we all unite,
Yes,
in a concerted effort to get stuff done for our people. And our people. Of course, I was born black, that I guess that's a common word to use. And so that's where my interests align. But,
yes, sir.
When it come down to the end of the day, our people is everybody. It's
that's
one
right.
race, it's the human race. But we definitely need to make sure that when we talk about equity, that we getting it taken care of for our folks, especially. So I don't want to hold the mic too long. Got Deacon Juwan over here. I want to make sure he gets something to say, too.
I rise, give honor to the Holy Father, the King of all Israel. I'm just less than honored that I'm able to grace the Fli-City podcast right now.
Come on now.
To talk about an uplifting conversation that we as men can build on and sharpen each other up as iron, forged and fired by the Lord God of Israel. No offense to anybody if I'm name dropping to Israel. That's just our dialect, how we talk and how we preach and how we move around, how we govern ourselves.
Amen.
I think that's the thing about how we kind of talking right now, man. Listen, man, we respect it all, and different folks have different denominations, right? Different breakdowns, different things. But like myself, man, I'm a spiritual being, right? So I connect with got a lot of Muslim brothers, of course, a lot of family members, Christians, and and of course a lot of brothers are a lot of Israelites, right? And Hebrews and etc. Right? But at the end of the day, man, it's us. Right? And as long as you got a relationship with the Most High and a higher power, and you believe in that, right, and you pattern your life all principles and values, man, I respect that, right? So I'm just down there with that, brother, man. So, nevertheless, man. So, it's good to have you on the city of Flint.
Oh yeah,
right? Like Jew's been around here a number of times, right? We was kind of talking on the back end how Flint is going through a number of different transitions, just like Detroit, like Inkster, majority black city. We got black leadership in place, but a lot of times things depend on us,
correct.
right? And it's up to us, right, to be able to control our media, our economics, our neighborhoods, right, our society, our youth, right, support the elders, to be able to position ourselves to be in a better position for the future, right? So y'all came here to the city today for sure. Tell us what was going on today.
Mainly Flint Temple had an annual day program.
Mm-hmm.
Embodiment of that is just like an uplifting spirit. Brother that you're gonna hear, Malcolm Swilly, right now had a testimonial hour, and he speak heavily on addiction and the things, the trials that he's went through, that he's actually lived, that he can speak upon, that no man can ever like take away from him. He's his own walking testimony, his own book. Simple as that. We had a lovely service, lovely singers, uplifting spirit.
Amen. Yeah. I definitely got to support everything he said. The brothers coming up after us, one of them just came out here actually from city of Saginaw. He's not no stranger to Flint, but now he's more involved out here. But then the brother that Deacon Jewell was just talking about, Brother Malcolm, he shared his testimony, today. And the thing we got to realize, even like how you was mentioning, the buck stops with us. We got to realize ain't nobody coming to save us. You got to save yourself. And so in order for us to go ahead and in order for us to really know how to get out of the situation we find ourselves in, we got to figure out what is our role in the matter. What are we going to do to go ahead and pull ourselves out of it? So, I think the conversation is so timely right now, because we can't be asked, even with, I know the conversation with reparations going on, all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
Sure, we all appreciate a little extra support, but at the end of the day, what can we do, to support each other? And definitely let us know too, Brother Robinson, when we about like halfway through. So, we want to make sure we go ahead and tag them other brothers in. But I'm enjoying the conversation right now too.
I think, and it's organic. So I know normally we go a certain time period, but always time is unlimited, right? It's really depending on, I just be trying to respect folks' schedule.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, however y'all want to do it, we can chop it up, switch out, switch back in, however you want to do it is what we want to do. Okay. So, man, kind of going off of what we're discussing and even the conversation about the culture, where do y'all feel we are as a body of people, a group of people, and some of the things that we want to tackle, right? How can we improve our circumstances? Because when you talk about reparations, you talk about economic base, and we living in a capitalistic country, and we operate with no capital. The thing is, how do we really put ourselves in position, be educated about how we want to go ahead and move in this community, but then have the resources, right, to push our initiatives?
Even the point you just mentioned, we operate with no capital. See, we got to elevate the conversation to, collective capital. It's even like Brother Malcolm X or El Haj Malik Shabazz, at a point in time, he was talking about, not taking it to the courts in the U.S. because they the culprit. He's talking about taking this stuff to the UN, because it's not about civil rights, it's about human rights. And so, we're talking about taking things to different levels. We got to look at the dollar, look at some of the other currencies that we operate with, and say, okay, maybe the few dollars I have is not going to change the world, but when we all sit down and put all the money on the table, we looking at a large amount of money. They say we spend over $1 trillion. As consumers,
yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes,
and more, and that's like we're the biggest consumers.
Yes,
so we got to figure out. Okay, I was having a conversation with Deacon Jewell earlier. We got a brother at one of our temples who does alkaline water. Just picture if everybody in the church, instead of having to get bottled water, buying little waters here and there, we all get a dispenser, and then every week we support this brother by getting a 5-gallon drum alkaline water, or every 2 weeks, depending on how much you drink it. Now the brother's business gonna shoot up.
Yeah.
Everybody gonna be healthy. We good. So now what do we go to next? Maybe we have somebody who know how to garden. They start planting fruits and vegetables. Now whenever we need fruits and vegetables, we go talk to this person. So we got to figure out how do we circulate dollars. So now our our few dollars become a plethora of dollars.
Come on now. Come on.
Talking about, having a larger operation, but as long as we stand on our silos, we're gonna constantly be in the same predicament.
I love what he's saying, man. Like
and Myers and all that, they got enough money.
Yeah,
right.
It's about discipline, but we so comfortable these days where it's like, I'm used to going here and I'm used to paying this price. Well, you're gonna have to spend a little bit more money on the front end, because we ain't mass producing stuff.
That's the argument.
So it's a.
But the thing is, like, what's the main product that we need to survive? Water.
Right.
Water is essential. That's 70% of our body.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we need to tack on the essential things that we need to survive. Obviously, food, clothing, and different things of that nature adds on together to build up, build what we say the economy. I wouldn't say not the economy, like the anatomy of what we want to be and what we want to be like.
Yeah.
So I feel like essentially that we need to go tackle on different things that we need to survive. First is water. Obviously, how do we build up a company in water if we don't have no capital, no assets? I think we need to be taught something. It doesn't matter what color or creed that person is. Main thing it is you need to absorb the knowledge from that person to develop something. Right. So
I get the information from anywhere. That's right.
So, curiosity, how old are your young brothers? Because I came in here looking suave and sharp. I got to give all your brothers credit. And
they came in sharp too.
I'm 23 years old.
23?
Yeah, I'll be 28 on the 11th.
That's what's up. That's what's
after 911, call 401. 401 pain. No free commercials. I want some money off it.
Come on now, right? Hey, that's a young brother, man. But the thing is, I think it's everybody's young brothers, right? Everybody's. I think it's a thing of how you are looking at it mentally, and how you are moving about it, right? Because I know some folks can feel like, man, I feel like an old man, right? You know what I'm saying? And you could be a young person saying that, right? Or you can be an older gentleman moving like a young brother, right? You know what I'm saying? So, nevertheless, man, we got brothers at different levels of the game. And I think, when we talk about us as a group, I love what we're talking about, man. It's like we all have to work in unison.
Correct.
Right? Everybody brings different talents to the table. So if you're talking, hey, I got alkaline water, and listen, water is the source of all life, right? You made up of 75% water, right? Then that's something that we need, right? That's attribute. And then the brother will come, hey, listen, okay, well, I got strategy, right? Hey, listen, we got some, we need to put some strategy how we putting together these plans to get this water imported out, right? And who we getting with, what stores are going to be distribution centers, right? And I love that, right? And then, of course, connecting with, larger communities of ours. So we in Saginaw, we in Flint, we in Inkster, we in Detroit. Now we got a population base, and we all representing. I think those things kind of put us on the format, but I love how, we all in different perspectives in different areas and have, something going on and kind of corralling that energy and moving as one, as a unit. Right?
Yeah. How about let's try to get that young brother on the show so maybe he can pop down to the spotlight on one of them last Saturdays of the month where we spotlight and network the business.
Oh, yeah.
There, so,
yeah.
So what tell him to get in touch with the wine.
I sure will.
Him on here to
all of them, actually. Bring them all on for the spotlight. The spotlight takes place downtown at the Greater Flint Art Council. You've been to the spotlight before. It's an arts and culture event, but then also we have a number of vendors and guest speakers, right? They kind of talk about different things they have going on, but then also you sell merchandise. Our vendors do very well, right? We patronize, we talk about Black business, we talk about supporting each other. And I like what you were talking about, saying like people get comfortable with going with Walmart just because the competitive price. But then at the same time, when looking at us, we got different distribution. So we may have to pay a few cents more. Right. But it's like, hey, listen, I'd rather spend my money with my people because, hey, I know the blood, sweat, and tears is going to this, but then also the community impact that come along. Walmart not putting money back into the neighborhood, right? And I'm just to be honest, right? We have to, we will do it because we connected to the neighborhood. Correct. And people will connect with you and will be looking forward to it. So we have to be able to say sacrifice and like, I'm gonna patronize this because of the cause and believe in why I'm doing this rather than getting a good deal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I be feeling like that, like going to church, like having church meals instead of going out to eat
Mm-hmm.
at McDonald's. I'd rather just go get me a $5 sandwich from downstairs to the church kitchen because I know that's gonna be made with love, tender love, and you putting that forth into the community, straight to the temple. Like, different things like that touch base, they hit different, like and make memories. Like I love McDonald's.
Leave a McDonald's cheeseburger out on your counter for about 2 weeks. You might
I don't even love McDonald's. I really don't be eating McDonald's.
I love some McDonald's too, or used to, but the brothers got a point though. You know, just about. It come down, Walmart can mass produce. They got a competitive price, but look at the quality of the product that you get too. You know, how is it possible for you to mass produce? You know, for these sandwiches so good and be so addictive. You know, it's chemicals. It's made with all kind of manufactured ingredients, all kind of stuff like that. You know.
2 months later, it's gonna look the same as when you bought it. It's just gonna be hard. No mold.
You know, so it's just it's decisions we got to make. It might be hard decisions, but it's important decisions we got to make if we want to actually, change the nature of our communities. So,
I think, and I was on point, right? So, and then, I guess, judging from that, right? What is it, man? Where do we see ourselves? I know we talk about the last 400 years, but understanding who we are as the original contributors to this world, making the original contributions to civilization, right? As the original man, original people, we need to be discussing much more than these last 400 years. We need to be talking about who we were before then, right? Where do we see us? Let's dig into that real quick, right? And I'm just because when I was brought up in grade school, that's the things that they were taught. Christopher Columbus was discovered America, but then you had these questions like, how you discovered America, right? And there was people over here already. Right? You got to kind of think about that. So education is a very important thing. When Black people understand who we are, what we mean to this world, and what we have created. When you talk about pyramids, when you talk about astrology, when you talk about mathematics, you talk about medicine, you talk about spirituality, all those things derive from the original people that was here. Is nothing new under the sun. The elders be always saying that, like, man, you ain't doing nothing new, man. We've been doing that a long time ago. Y'all just remixing stuff. And I feel them, right? Yeah. So let's have a real conversation. When we realize the value of who we are, that'll change our mindsets. I really had to. It was the time when I went to Egypt and I realized, like, the creations and all the things that we built, from the pyramids, the Sphinx, they left all this information and the messages on the walls with the hieroglyphics, which is the meta natures. They left that for us. And so that caused me to really be like, man, I owe more out. I don't think I'm, living up to, I guess, the means of a Mansa Musa, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or, a Hannibal, right? You people would think that's that movie. Right. But when you start thinking about, okay, these people played a part in shaping where we are in the world today. How do we get back to that? And what can we do for the next 400 years? And that's a deep question. It's a loaded question, right?
Yeah, super loaded.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's some of the stuff we talking about, the return of royalty. You know what I mean? And it's just really it's a matter of perspective. I think first and foremost, we got to have a change of hearts and minds, but it's just a matter of figuring out. We know what the problem is, and we know what the solutions are too. It's just a matter of doing them now. And it might not start out with everybody doing them, but if a small committed group of folks can start it, because we're task oriented, other people can pick it up. So it's got to just start somewhere. But that's how we do it. We wait and we just keep talking about it and stuff. We never gonna hit the mark. It's time for some action.
And you said a magical thing, right? It takes 10 people to change the world. Right? When you talking about Yahweh, right? He had 11 disciples, right? So it's gonna take a group, a body of people that's gonna have to influence others, right, to make that change. And I know sometimes it be feeling like we at a disadvantage. And just be honest, I think just because of society try to make certain groups the permanent lower class, but we can change our circumstances. We just got to do it. And we have to believe in something more than ourselves, right? And we have to have strategies that we follow. If you stick with the plan, you see all the way through, even know, during the process, it's gonna be bumpy. And we got to pay a little bit more to patronize our people. Oh, hey, I got to sacrifice not eating at this place because we're dealing with this folks because I'm doing it for the cause, right? You have to follow that, or like I know we was talking about earlier, right? Having the right leadership. I know, like people be like, man, I'm tired of voting. I'm tired of voting, right? But to be honest with you, right, we need folks to have visionary mindset that really care about an empathetic situation, really want to move us forward in those positions in their capacity, right? So we got to vote, right? That's a sacrifice. Right? I got to take off work or whatever the case. I'm gonna have to do it, or I'm gonna have to fund a campaign or support a brother, right, to make sure he get there. Yeah, we got to make sure that we do it.
Right. You can miss work and that. You can mail in ballots. You can do all kinds of early voting ballots. You don't have to miss work. And the big thing is people need to realize it's a belief amongst a lot of our peoples, because we are targeted by the police and the justice system. That just because you did something wrong that you can't vote. That's a big misconception. You need to find out whether or not you can vote, because it depends on what you've done and what type of felony that you have and what your laws are in your individual states. So that's a whole lot of votes that we're missing out on because somebody done went to jail or prison and said, hey, I can't vote. It's not necessarily true.
Closing on all aspects.
I'm trying to tell you. Come on.
I was just saying,
you mainly deep thought over there. So
mainly, I just feel like I know a certain extent that community helps galvanize and develop one person. I feel like at the end of the day, you need a teacher. Somebody needs to sit and teach you how to be educated within oneself before you start to govern other bodies of principles throughout the world. Like, that's it.
Yeah, and I want to get ready to tag them other brothers in too. I definitely know this can't be the last time. I love the conversation we have, and I hope we can continue this off the channels. And even for the people that's listening in too, make sure y'all
people tapping in with you.
Tap in and speak with Brother Dewan, especially those of you who might be out here in Flint. Get out there with them so you can become a part of some of the things that you're doing a lot of great work. And it's just important for us to start building this whole collaborative network right now. I'm looking forward to it. But definitely looking forward to hearing what you pull out of these two brothers coming up after us, Dr. Markeem Baker and Brother Malcolm Swilly. So I want to make sure we tag them in too so they can have something to say also.
We about to tag them in right now. Y'all brothers ready? They just came in, man.
So peace and love, y'all.
We definitely gonna bring y'all brothers back, man.
And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. Fli-City got some dogs in it, dogs in it, dogs. Fli-City come off authentic, authentic. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce. We light it up like sauce and sauce and sauce.
My city experiencing a transition from penny pinching, maximizing our dollars, multiply triple digits. I came a long way from baby jars in a project kitchen.
Yes, sir. All right, man. We back in the place to be. This transition. We got some new brothers in, right? Some good brothers. All right, turn that in. And definitely though, necessarily, man, building on the conversation that we just had, right? I know you're coming in from out of town.
Yes, sir. Well, Detroit.
Detroit.
Saginaw.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Detroit, Saginaw, and representing. So, man, based on what y'all been hearing in the conversation, first and foremost, let's introduce yourselves. So, on the platform, you got some folks tapping in. They know who you are, right? And can be able to tap in with you and kind of, connect more deeper, man. So, why don't you introduce yourself?
All right. My name is Malcolm. I rise to violence slowly, follow King of all Israel. My name is Malcolm Swilly. 33 years old, from Michigan.
Rise to violence, Israel. My name is Reverend Markeem Baker. I'm the pastor or assistant pastor over at the Spiritual Church in this Army on 222 Edmund Street, where my pastor is Elder Janice Walker, and I come in representation of our King, Bishop Bobby Joe Davis.
Come on, man. Listen, man. That's that. Yeah, they saying, man, y'all beautiful people, man. I think they love y'all vibes.
Appreciate it.
And I'm saying, like, even from the exterior, man, it definitely, man, some very sound brothers, man. But then I also fear, man, like, man, y'all some beautiful brothers on the inside, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think, man, we need more of it, right? So, man, so what brings you to the city and what we got going on?
Like Deacon Juwan had alluded to, Reverend Markeen and the Flint Temple at the Spiritual Israel Church in the Army, they were having their annual building fund.
Okay.
And I was actually invited out as a guest speaker to just, tell my story a little bit about some of the things and hardships that I've been through in life. At one point in my life, I dealt drugs, I dealt cocaine, crack, pills. Then later on in life, I found myself being addicted to those very same drugs and the very same poison that I dealt to my people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So God definitely got a funny sense of humor. You know what I mean? We're bringing things full surface. I found myself kind of looking down at the people, thinking I was better than them.
It'd be like that.
Because I was the seller and not the doer.
That's right.
And then just gave it time. I ended up becoming the doer and not the seller anymore.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Okay. For sure. So,
but I think that's an amazing, it's an amazing story, and we turn, tribulations into triumph, right? And sometimes you got to go through that, right? True. Because you wouldn't be on the path today. Right. I mean, knock you down.
Oh yeah, but we wouldn't be right here at Fli-City if
real talk. I can definitely relate to that, and I had my challenges in life, right? And started out in music and started out in the streets and trying to make a way, and what come with that, right? I couldn't be my best self, for my children, for just my community or my family or my people, right? If I didn't change it around.
Right. Yes, sir.
So, man, I commend you, right? And glad that you are on this path, right?
Yes, sir.
And we're gonna dig deep into that story. Tap in.
Yes, sir.
Okay, brother, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Reverend Markeen.
I mean, not introduce yourself. Let's hear from your perspective.
Well, yeah, like you said, we had our annual. Most of our churches we are heavily based in Michigan, but we're all over the country.
Okay.
And most churches have what we call an annual, where we go out and help them to raise money, and we have a good time. And like he said, he was one of our speakers today, where he came out and essentially he was vulnerable, right? By sharing his story, because you never know how it's going to be received by other people. And we all have testimony and stories, right? That's why one of my favorite scriptures in Psalm says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Right. And don't say sprint. It don't say run, jump, hop. It says to walk, right? Because when you walk, like even if you're just walking up the street, you take more time to pay attention to everything that's around you versus if you're running, right? When you're running, you're just looking at the end to make it to a specific destination. Whereas when you walk, you're paying attention, observing everything else. As Brother Malcolm, he essentially walked through the time that eventually became his testimony.
Yes.
And so that in turn was universal enough to resonate with people who might not even had the same story that he had, but could still identify with the intangibles in his story, to say that I was the same way. I mean, I may not have been through the same thing exactly, but I was the same way. I mean, because addiction is a spirit. It isn't necessarily something that's tied to drugs.
Yes, sir.
It's a spirit that we have to be addicted to anything. And so it was universal once again enough to where, people identify with it.
Man, no, I think and it sounds like they receive, right? And I think we should do more of that, right?
Yes.
It's not about, sometimes people feel like you're not doing the people, or you're not performing in the best, light. They look down on you.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
And it's hard for those who want to change come into those environments. You know what I'm saying? They be like, listen, man, I'm doing what I'm doing over here, or I'm gonna struggle on my own. And I might not be received.
Right.
But then it took you, right, man, to say, like, man, listen, man, I know folks may receive it, just maybe some might, disregard. But nevertheless, I get the story, you never know who might be, struggling and challenged.
Right. No,
putting that out there.
Me coming out of myself, because I was in that place. I was exactly in that place for years, for a long time, and I felt like, man, I don't know how people are gonna receive this, or I don't know how family's gonna think, or what my friends is gonna react.
I know, right?
And then I finally got to that point where it's like, man, I don't care what.
Come on now,
think,
come
man.
on now.
You know what I mean? I'm tired of hurting. I'm tired of bumping my head against this brick wall. I'm tired of doing these same things over and over again, expecting different results. What's the definition of insanity?
True
so
that.
I just found myself insane, man, for years, just doing the same thing. And I'm so grateful, that I was able to find my way out of it, because a lot of people don't make it back from that.
They really don't.
And then people don't.
And then I know some of us, man, we want to make a change, right? But we're afraid to make that change because of what other people might, look at us as, whether it be changing on them or changing our circles or family, putting that stuff out there. But I think, man, a lot of us be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Right. And when you finally make that, like, all right, man, listen, man, forget it, right? I'm gonna just take everything that come with it. I'm gonna go ahead and change and really thoroughly change.
Right.
Man, stuff just looks so different, man. You have a different outlook on life. You'll be and feel much better. I feel much better that I can move around, freely in the way that I do now, right? Without worrying about anything else, right?
Right.
And even if I see some stuff that, reflecting of the past, right? I know I'm grounding who I am, right? And I can still deal with it, right? And that don't mean that you change on folks that you may have came up with, maybe dealt drugs with, right? Some old females you had situations with, old friends, right? All that stuff, right?
Right.
Because they'll see the light in you.
Definitely.
And you might shine on them, right?
Man, I actually had a minister come up to me a few weeks ago, man, from Compton, California.
Yeah,
our temple out there. And he said, definitely don't forget about the ones that helped you out when you was out there messed up. Don't forget about the good ones, because everybody's not bad people. You know what I mean? It's just they're stuck in a bad situation.
Yes, sir.
And I had to think about that, like as far as myself, I'm not a bad person at all. I was never a bad person. I'll give you the shirt off my back.
Right.
It's just that I found myself in a lot of bad situations and made a lot of bad decisions that put me in that place. I said, but he told me, yeah, man, don't let go of those friends and those connections that you made, because you never know when you might need somebody that you've met out there in the world. Period. You know what I mean? No matter what it was. So,
man, real talk.
Definitely.
Real talk. I can even speaking of that, man. So a lot of my partners are coming back home from prison, right? And the same ones, you was out there, and living a certain type of lifestyle with, right? So they may have heard and kind of witnessed some things over the years, right? And then when they come down and they come out, connect and see it, right? I'm gonna tell you firsthand, man, it's inspiring. They be inspired. They be appreciated, right? Because you stayed true to it, right? They know you was a solid one, right? And you was able to make some transitions, and they want to do the same thing, right? They want to speak to the youth, right? They want to talk about, hey, listen, man, you don't got to go down this road. We can go ahead and take these different pathways. And like now, our relationships is much different, right? And I'm telling you, I take that to heart.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
For sure, yes, sir.
That's where, us as brothers, and I think, we need each other, and we need to be able to be safe and be comfortable with each other.
Sure.
We need to be about business and about some constructive actions, right? Even those who maybe were struggling with addiction, like, who fell on drugs, right? I got some partners that's overcoming, right? And I see them looking better now, you see them looking good. Their conversation is up to par, right? And ultimately, when we was young boys, man, we couldn't wait to get to these days, right? You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Right.
For sure.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, sometimes you be like, man, I don't see nothing, when you in those type of situations, man, you like, man, I don't know what it's gonna look like. Right. And so
12, I couldn't wait to get grown.
Man.
Now every time I turn around, consumers coming at me. I was eating those little snacks and them free Captain Crunches and all that.
Yes.
Drinking that milk and
eating
up everything in the refrigerator. I didn't think about nothing that they had to pay for. It didn't matter. So life smacks you in the face once you get grown and you out here on your own.
That's right. That's right, man. So what is y'all message, man? Since y'all seasoned brothers, right? What is your message to the youth, right? Because right now, I think we were just talking about. Saying there was a new drug out there called Trump, or what was it?
Trank or something?
Trank.
It's crazy, man. They've been talking about it in the news lately, and they said this stuff is resistant to Narcan. So
wow.
if you OD, Narcan can't even save you, and they said it's taking people out maybe like 1 out of 3 users or something like that. That's how strong it is. Once you go down that rabbit hole, where Narcan used to bring you back from fentanyl and pill overdoses and all that, this drug is resistant to it.
See, man, the scary part about it is,
people could be incorrect.
Right.
I think they said trank. At first, I thought they were talking about some new name for people.
Right. That's something else. Right. See, man, but the crazy thing that I found out with some people that's caught in the addiction, some of them people don't even want the drug unless it got the fentanyl in it. Or unless it, can have the same effects of that trank drug that you're talking about. And that's the scary thing. Like, why would you even want to,
that sound deep, man.
Indulge in anything that could potentially take your life? Because I've actually overdosed before. You know what I mean? And unbeknownst to me, I did a line of cocaine. I didn't know that it was laced with fentanyl.
Oh,
and
man,
I'm
that's
talking
a rough
about,
one come back.
Yeah. So I hit it because I did cocaine a million times. But this one time when I did it, man, I'm talking about my heart slowed down instantly. And I knew someone right then. I knew someone right. So yeah, man, you got to be very, very careful. I was actually at a school not too long ago with one of my good buddies, and the head of the PTO, she told us that they're giving out Narcans in the schools down there in Detroit because you never know when somebody may. I'm like, they giving it home to the kids and the parents.
It's that deep, bro.
It's that deep, man. So
I ain't gonna hold you, man. We got a box of Narcan over there.
I got some.
Man, I was about to say I might need a couple to take.
You can take some.
I need to take a couple.
I was coming. I was coming down the street, man. I teach at the middle school, right? So I'm gonna have your boys. You gotta come talk to my middle school boys, man. Yeah, they appreciate y'all. Okay. So I was coming from class one day, man. I was coming down Door Highway. I'm coming out Court Street past Door Highway. Look to the side. It was a lady just in the snow, right? And just purple, right? So I'm thinking like, I don't know why you be laying in the snow right now, man. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of had pulled over, and on being out, man, she had overdosed. She was just out there. She was on the bus. She got off the bus. She fell out. Obviously, the bus driver didn't know what to do. We freaked out. And then what happened was just like, man, it was just the power of God, right? So, of course, I pulled up, man. I haven't administered Narcan before. I didn't even, probably, I heard about Narcan, but I didn't even necessarily know about how to use it. But we had a sister who had a medical background, right? She came on automatically, gave the lady CPR, right? Blowing in it, right? Trying to get her color back, right? It was just like, we was watching her, and I was kind of holding her head up, right? Kind of consoling her. Then a brother, man, he was a young brother. He was a medical student. And this happened just all spur of the moment. He came out, man, listen, man, it's right here, man. We're going to run and get some Narcan, right? Just so happened older lady coming down the street, like, I got Narcan, right? It was just so random, right? So we didn't all just kind of like just all played a part, right? Everybody in their role just did what they did, and necessarily like just to get it together. And like we was losing her for a minute because she was out there for a minute. It was like bad. She was purple. And it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? That kind of family history, nothing like that. We got our ID and stuff out, you know what I'm saying, so we can make sure we need to do anything, make it whatever. Right. But then once we, the young brother ministered Narcan, and then we went and got another one, right? And by this time, man, it was been like 15 minutes, and the bus driver called the ambulance, and so we did enough, right, to go in until the ambulance came, got her, put on the stretcher, right, and took her back to the hospital. But I think it was just more like, man, the community came together, and we all didn't know each other from a can of paint. We was just like, we were just there at the time, and like we embraced each other, like, and afterwards, like, you know what, that could have been any of us. It could have been our children. It could have been, you know what I'm saying, whatever, right? Somebody's mama, right? Because we didn't seen that stuff coming up. But it was just like so beautiful, just how the community just came together just to be able to help save a life, right? And so,
fortunate to say the least,
right?
To keep beating the same drum. Remember, nowadays fentanyl and all this and this and all this, it's an epidemic.
Right.
But there was an epidemic that we went through back in the 80s called crack. They decided to pretty much lock us up and throw away the key. 3 strikes for nonviolent crime, you're doing out of life.
For sure.
Still locked up to this day because of those type of drug laws. But that was truly an epidemic that devastated Black communities.
Right.
And the government it's a known fact that they were helping push this cocaine prices into our neighborhood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I hate to keep beating the same drum, but now all of a sudden, because it's doctors and lawyers, judges and politicians' kids, it's an epidemic. So let's try give them any time. Let's
Definitely.
try to do everything but lock them
Definitely,
up.
you're allowed to call. Like let's say I dropped it or I OD right now. You're allowed to call and be like, "Hey, we got somebody over here that was getting high."
Yeah.
Back in the you would have called. Yeah, we got somebody over here. What? Everybody would have went to jail.
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
You better not call nobody. We better have to find somewhere to ditch. It was crazy, right?
Take you outside, put you in the front yard.
Yeah, for real.
Keep doors down and call them.
You're right. Drop them off in front of the door. Drop them off in front of the door, right out real quick. Like, he ain't even check to see if die.
Right.
But I think that's a real thing, man. Unfortunately, like, you know, because it's other people's children, man, that's dying, overdosing off of fentanyl. Right now, it's become a medical thing. Like it's a mental thing, right? A health situation now. It's a crisis now, right? And when it was going down in our neighborhoods, neck of the woods, man, everybody was going away from 15 to 25, right? And that's just an unfortunate situation. And so, man, but I think that's why it's so important. And then also educating our young people, saying like, man, listen, I know the young boys be smoking weed and sometimes drink some lean, you know, some cocaine. That's just how it used to be, right? Sure. But it's like, man, maybe we should also, man, be taught how to eat right? Yeah. How to, you know, working out your physical, right? Right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the eat to live, right? Live to eat. Those things we should have real conversations with our people about to make sure that we encourage, right? Sure. That you ain't got to get high off drugs, but to be high off life. Right. There's other ways that you can do things, right, to catch a feeling. Right. And we got to change the game that way. Yeah. Right.
You know, but you know, systematically they made it like that. You know what I mean? We're having our favorite rappers talking about this and talking about the drug use, glorifying it. It's like when we were younger, you know, like we looked up to the drug dealer. You know what I mean? Now this generation, it's like, you know, it's cool to pop purrs, do this, do that. Right. And we definitely need to just change the whole narrative.
Come on now.
Come on, yeah. And like you said, talk about different things, you know what I mean? Try to expand our horizons to something different. We need to be able to talk about, you know what I mean, that day that our dad left us, you know what I mean? Or not knowing who our father was.
Come on now.
Come on. Be comfortable with each other to talk the drugs, to talk about our feelings and emotions. And as Black men, it's like always been a taboo in America. You know, we've always kind of shied away from really connecting with each other and really discussing how we feel. You know,
and I think you raised because sometimes when you don't have like a positive role model in your life or your father in your life, then you resort to somebody on TV that looking like he got it together, right? You might be like, all right, well, listen, man, he getting money, he got a lot of girls, right? That's what I want to be. I think when we growing up, we see that type of stuff, and it's very impressionable on a young person who has no guidance.
I might be the oldest guy in the room, but I remember rap, you know, hip hop, You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, you might be there.
Might be there. Got me looking for them shoes and them clothes and stuff, but they wasn't talking about going out there and rolling on the opposite.
Yeah, they weren't even talking about that, right?
Shooting up the block and on Instagram having beef, and it'll lead to real stuff in the streets.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is happening constantly, especially over there in Chirac. It's crazy.
Man, definitely happening in the South for sure.
More people dying over there than died in Iraq.
In Iraq, yeah.
You know
right. And that
coming through
that's
with
great.
50 cows.
Yeah.
That go through a tank, and there's more people dying. You know, in those city streets. And Chirac is just one area. Just
that's
across
real.
America and the Black urban community.
Oh, for sure.
You need to talk to young brothers about, you know, knowing, first of all, knowing your rights. A lot of people don't know their laws or know their rights and all that.
Right.
And you know, when they try to separate us through the laws. They've been doing it for years. Once you go to prison and come back out, if you ain't married to your girl or old lady, you got a felony, you go up in her household, they kick her on out. Take her off of assistance, take her off of agency and all that, because you can't have a felon in the house. But the felon happened to be the father of the 3 kids.
But that even go back. That even go back to the slavery days when they should take the father out the household, right? You know, and whip him and castrate him and buck him right in front of his woman and children, right? That messed up. And we understand epigenetics, right? That runs through our DNA. So if you see somebody just disrespecting your woman, if your woman see you not being able to be a protector, right? See you, you know, being timid in front of, I guess, another man, right? They lose respect. Definitely. And like, even when you look at some of the ladies and the women out here today, right? You know, they became super hard, right? They feel like they have to fend for self and protect themselves. They became the woman and the man of the household. And now they treat the man with very little respect.
Right.
What do we do? Yeah. What do we do that, right? As I see y'all as being some upstanding, strong black man, right? And all you brothers in the room is upstanding, strong black man. How do we take our rightful place back into this world, right? Back into our families, right? All of our children, right? And treat our woman. Because it's shout out to the women's month, right?
Definitely.
How do we take our stands back to this world? Because when I was in Egypt, man, it was an Arabic dude that came to me and said, like, listen, I was in the pyramids. I was actually in the Luxor of Ramesses. And I was just in there, just kind of just looking at everything going on, right? Just envisioning. He like, man, he told me, like, yeah, you got the spirit of a young king. I said, oh, okay. I said, that's deep, right? Ramesses Temple. All right, I feel that. But then, like, when the black man wakes up, the game is over.
110%.
Elaborate.
Yeah, because the woman has a right to expect the man to be like that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
He has to be like, I got a wife over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You should expect me to be the provider of the house.
Yes, sir.
She should be able to stand behind me and feel safe.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm not doing that, like I heard somebody say that a man wants to recreate, but when he leaves the house, all he is performing is recreation. Playing.
It's deep.
You know what I mean? And it's spelled the same. Recreation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And when he leaves the house, all he doing is playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, she has the right. Like in our church, we taught that our spiritual name is Ethiopian Israelites.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Our natural roots come from Ethiopia, which at one point in time, before it became Africa, it was Ethiopia.
Well,
right? Before they set all the boundary lines and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And our ancestors performed that same way. The man went out, hunt, did everything that he was supposed to do, while the woman was at home, and we were okay with that. Matter of fact, you fast forward time, that's what the man was doing. 40s, 50s, something like that, where he would go to his plant job, factory job, or whatever, while the woman was at home taking care, and he was coming home procreating. And this is why we have households of 10, 12, 13.
It was.
You know what I mean?
Like our grandfathers and stuff was on that.
Yeah.
A lot higher back then. Sadly, during segregation.
Right. 100%.
During segregation, if you notice, we spent more of our own money with one another.
Right.
You know
right. Definitely.
Right.
Because we was all we had.
Because we had to. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We were all
100%.
isolated, but the money stayed in the community.
That's
You
right.
know, the black owned stores. When I grew up here in Flint, the 7-Elevens was owned by black folks and stuff.
And the gas stations, corner stores.
Right.
Right. Yeah, we had movie theaters, convenience shops, right? All owned by black people.
Record stores,
All
all
that.
that. You know what I'm saying? All black people owned all these things.
Right.
Slowly but surely.
Gentrification, huh?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right.
That's pretty much what happened.
On top of my dome.
But then going back,
black owned store right now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
and then going back to the household, right? We're in a time, right, where your emotions, right? We're talking about being sad, mad, and all this other stuff, right? But there was a point in time where the daddy was stern.
Yeah.
He was stern. There was no emotions. You know what I mean? And then we got into this area with CPS and all this other stuff.
Right.
So now we got to teach children about emotions and being in tune with their emotions and stuff like that. The father was stern and he taught what was needed to be taught.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And
That's
so
right.
now with the introduction, and we know it's systematic. I don't really like to talk about the problem. I want to be solution based. I already know the problem. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a part of this culture where people get on. I don't want to rant, but
Go ahead, rant.
yeah, but the solution is the black man has to return back the way he was with our ancestors in the structure of the household. Now, I'm not really a traditionalist like that. You know what I mean? But I understood that worked, and why break something that was working?
Right.
Don't recreate the wheel. You know what I mean? Like my son is a boy, he's treated like a boy. My daughter's a girl, she's treated like a girl.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And there's some things my children don't watch.
I'm glad you said it.
Because I'm spiritual too. Well, we're all spiritual. We're spiritual.
Yes, sir.
And that what we see outwardly, when a boy tries to go through this little transformation, it's a spirit. 9 times out of 10, he caught that spirit in something that he watched.
They really, really bad at it nowadays because it has to be that way on TV.
Yeah.
When we were coming up, it was pretty rare.
Inclusion.
They put it out there as much.
Yeah.
But now every show, you just waiting to the moment. If you watching some TV, like you about to see it, it's gonna happen. It's part of. It's got to be written into the script nowadays.
You might
putting it out there in front of everybody.
I was watching TV the other day,
Even
man. Just two men just popped up, and I'm like, man, that's
And you know what? That stuff growing up, They didn't show.
And you know what? In the times that we in, it's just that what I try to do with my son and my daughter is that I try to time it. Stuff is right and is to be introduced at its time.
At its right time,
You know what I mean? Because what's going on in the world ain't going nowhere.
Right.
It's gonna be here. So they may be sheltered right now because I monitor everything that they watch right now. Right. But my son's 10. When he gets to about 12, 13, then I'm going to introduce something else to him. I'm going to open up conversation and dialogue. At that moment, that's when I'm going to have the conversation done. But right now, he's not there. I'm going to introduce. So the black man has to return back. If we're going to get things back the way we're like Dean Jewell said, we don't have to, we can't wait for somebody to come rescue us. You know what I mean? We got everything that we need is right here within us.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? We believe in the Spiritual Church in His Army that God lives within us. We don't preach a God in the sky and the devil in the ground.
That's right.
The God and the devil lives right here within us.
Yes, sir.
Everything that we need is right here within us. We just got to tap into it.
Come on.
On a conscious level. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I talked about the Mansa Musa and that's already in us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of black men and women who are doing some great things without instructions or this the so-called education and stuff like this. They're doing it without that. It's already being done because what they already have is what they already need is right here already within them.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like he went through a time of addiction, but his rehab and his recovery was already in him. He may have some outside influences,
right?
But all they did was there's a scripture that says, counsel in the heart of man is like deep waters. But it takes a man of understanding.
Come on
to draw it up out of you.
Come on.
So he may have had outside influences to pull the recovery out of him, but it was already in him.
It was already, yes.
And somebody just pulled it out of him. You know what I mean? Everything that the black man and woman needs is already in there. They just got to tap into it and get away from this Western philosophy.
Man, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes,
this
sir.
ain't what we're doing. Matter of fact, there was a couple years ago I seen on TV, there was a guy who was in Africa said they bring it over there, they're going to kill him.
No, you're right. That was in Kenya. And over there, they don't play that.
They don't
play
the
that. Kenyan president, they don't do none of that stuff. And they shame the United States of America for allowing that stuff to take place. So and that's on principle.
Right.
And that's why I say, like, over here in this country right now, man, the way of how their philosophies are, it's like everybody has to follow suit. Right. Like if you grew up and you believe a certain different way, it's like it's undermined. Right. Like you gotta accept it. Just like how y'all want folks to accept, what y'all pushing, right? You gotta respect somebody who stand for principles and values.
Right.
You can't just run over their value just because you want to be inclusive. Right. And you know what I'm saying? Like and I always try to respect everybody. I always try to respect all people, right? You know what I'm saying? And however your lifestyle is, how your lifestyle is, that's on you, right? But I have a standard I live by, right? I got a son and a daughter, and I treat them accordingly, right? So I want you to respect that too. Don't be pushing that in their face, right? And trying to corral them to follow the circus.
Definitely. It's already gonna be in their face once they get of age.
It
anyways.
is.
You know what I mean? Like Dr. Marquis said, there ain't no way around it anyway. So what we do as fathers is just try to not so much shelter, but at least just try to keep a grasp and keep a handle on it.
Got to.
They can get to the age to where they can understand
what
it is, and then when they're old enough to make their own decisions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As a child or just being young, you really don't you don't have the fortitude, or you don't have the knowledge of really what you want to do, or you know what I mean, or the right way to go. So
that's true.
Yeah, that's definitely our role as fathers, man, is to teach them.
And I commend us, man, for having a conversation centered around being pillars back into our families, right? Because at the end of the day, you're right, man. That stuff it's stopping in with us.
Yeah, it does.
Women were created as helpmates, right? Right. But it was that brother out there in the field who was tending to the garden.
Yeah.
So we got to stop playing, and we got to stop perpetuating all these different ways of life, man, and be very grounded with self. Right. And it do start with our spirituality.
It do.
I think that's the first thing that we say, like, get in line, because it's already in you. God creates us in His image, so we many guys.
Right.
Right. We just gotta act like it.
For sure.
100%. And tap into it. You know what I mean? We are guys. There's like you was talking about the pyramids and stuff like that. They didn't do that with the tools we got now.
Oh, that limestone they developed, they didn't even have heavy machinery or high lifts and nothing. They had none of that.
Very, very primitive.
Right.
To this day to try to
figure out how
they accomplish those phenomenal feats.
Right.
They're still scratching their heads.
Right.
Kind of trying to discredit it.
Right. Yeah, it's impossible. Right.
Yeah, 100%.
Right.
To this day, they didn't have none of the machinery and equipment we got.
That's
we
right.
still can't make a pyramid as perfect as they made it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. It's true.
Based on the settings, the astronomy settings and all that.
Yeah, definitely.
They still can't do one. They can't duplicate one.
But they just didn't make those pyramids for nothing. They didn't. Those activate a certain type of energy, right?
Yeah.
And so when the way that they built, right, and even the way in the areas that they translate 45-degree angles from the sun, so it's transmitting a certain type of energy. So when you walk in, like you feel it. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So they were very astute to what they were doing, right?
They were doing.
Yeah. And so that's where I think when you're talking about even back in the day, those times, man, you know, they used to have that relationship strong with the Most High. Right. It was there.
Right.
I think, you know, right now we're a little kilted because I think we be distracted by life and all this thing that's going on and moving away. You know, our third senses is kind of been dimmed down a little bit.
Sure.
We got to get back to that,
100%.
right? So we can do the supernatural.
100%.
And that's the conversation what we're saying. So we want to be prolific figures here in our areas, and we want to be doing things that, you know, our women and our children go respect it, and we're gonna force the issue in this world. We got to start with that,
right?
And we got to get back to knowing thyself.
For sure. My mom said that America, or really everything, went down from her perspective when they took prayer out of the schools. Now I wasn't alive for that. I don't ever remember praying at no school, but my mama did. How about you, OG? Was y'all praying in school? Okay,
you prayed in school?
Okay, and that's what my mom said though. So
allegiance to the flag and all that prayer every morning, the whole shebang, the whole spiel.
Okay, and it wasn't a lot of mass shootings like that back in your time. Back in the day,
tell you the first thing that could happen to you back in my day, the
teacher could whip you.
Put your hand on the table and get a ruler.
Right. Yeah.
Then call your mama and them.
Right.
Mama had to come up to the school, or daddy had to leave work to go up to that school. Or did they get the call in the first place? Now you worried already. You got to go back home and deal with your father.
Right.
Deal with your mother.
Yeah. So it was accountability.
That was
accountability.
That was accountability.
I'm not saying all that was right, but I'm not saying it was wrong either.
Right.
Because we come from
a different level of respect. The kids, the way you see them performing online and talking to these teachers, just I mean, sitting there making your blood boil like I wish that was.
I wish my kid would. Right. For sure.
It wasn't that kind of party. I was born in '74. Matter of fact, I went to it's closed now, but I went to Dewey Elementary.
I've heard that.
When I stayed on Edmond Street. First, second, and third grade, I was at Dewey Elementary.
Yeah.
So I stayed on Edmond Street for several years. You know what I'm saying?
Come visit us sometime. You know the street at. Come visit us sometime.
Like I said, it was a whole different type of party because the teacher take you right out in the hallway and get
That's because
on your backside, and then you got to deal with your parents when you go home.
That's because of where we come from. You know what I mean? As an African culture, we didn't practice individualism. We were collective group. Right? We practiced group 3. You know what I mean? If we made a decision, we knew that this decision was the best decision for the group and not just for the individual.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? What happened at school, parents was okay with it because they knew it was okay for the child.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And then another thing, when we played up and down on the block, you know, the street lights came on, we made sure we was en route or getting to that porch by the time it got dark. And then on top of that, you did something, your neighbor come down there and tell your mama. Everybody just
I grew up in that.
They looked the other way or recorded with their phones nowadays. Your neighbor might drag you down there by your arm and be like, hey, your son just did this. You know what I'm saying? You usually had an eye.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole community raised the kids.
110%.
I think what he's saying. What he was saying, I think that's what it's saying, like that village concept that we were saying about, right?
back to that.
We got to get back on that, man. Like, you know, it's okay to discipline. If I know that you upstand, it's okay if you got to come, you know, and talk sense to my son and discipline my child, right? Because I know y'all, you know, I know y'all stand up figures, right?
For sure.
I think that's the thing that we've lost over time. Is like, you know, we don't want nobody, you know, talking to our kids.
Our children.
Yeah, we know how that be.
Yeah, a lady just said that to me
Yeah,
going into the
that's
church.
right. Yeah,
Because as a coach, because we're so influential, man. Like we got over the past however many years, we've had different groups come out about, you know, individual rights or civil rights about that group and stuff like that. And it has taken away from the collectivism.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You got the women that want the woman rights, and then you got whoever else want their rights and stuff like that. And so that has, you know, went inside the home to where now we're separated. You know what I mean? Like the woman does her thing, the man does his thing. He institutes what he believes, she institutes what she believes, instead of coming together,
Definitely.
and doing that
Definitely,
as a collective whole.
Definitely. And that's why I believe there ain't no
Yeah.
one, and that's why I believe that there's really not just a specific role in the way that, you know what I mean, in the times that we live in nowadays. It's like, you know, growing up, like you said, like the man worked and the woman stayed home and cooked. Now in 2023, a woman gonna look at you crazy if she be like, "Well, you want me to do what?"
Yeah, they do.
Man, you cook, you know what I mean? So that's why, you know, I don't just expect my significant other or my spouse to be the only one making dinner. I cook dinner as well.
Come on,
you know what I'm saying?
Come on, I could
you know what I mean? You know, like I just can't put everything on her just because, like you said, in the world that we live in nowadays, they working just as much as we working.
If not more.
If not more.
In a lot of cases, it takes two incomes.
It takes two.
Right.
Right.
Amount of stuff we're getting paid, but ain't nothing wrong with it if you got the type of money to provide that way, and that's what you want to come to understanding. And that's the way y'all want to raise.
It's understanding.
Nothing wrong
it's
with
understanding.
it at all, but you also got to let the woman be a little bit liberated and
for sure.
Go out there
you have to
and provide. You know what I'm saying? If you know, bring in a little extra income, if that's what y'all need, or if that's what she really wants to do, or if she went to school or got a degree or something. You know?
And that's the thing. They're way more educated than the black men now at this point. You know what I mean? Statistically. Yeah, right.
They're going to college.
They're going to college. Yeah.
Exactly. We make up a certain amount of the population, but we make up 25-30% of the prison.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
13% of the population, or whatever the stat is.
Come on now.
Every city and every penitentiary and in every state. Now that prisons are for profits, the price tag is on our backs.
Exactly.
They systematically stalking us down. And if you put yourself in that position and you out there riding around, expect to be, you know, pulled over by cops. I done been pulled over for no reason at all. Pulled out of my vehicle. That's why I say know your rights. Exactly. Don't play around with them because they will hurt you.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? But know your rights. And if you're out there doing something bad or you're riding with something bad, expect to get some attention sooner or later.
Oh, yeah, it's coming.
They will pull you out your car in front of your kids, cuff you up,
man,
and then try to shake your hand and release you and tell you can go. You ain't done nothing and you legit.
Man, they just ran into my crib about a month ago, arrested me on the couch with my kids, tried to say that it was a domestic thing going on. My girl in the back sleep. And they came right in the house.
What does that do to our babies?
And my 3-year-old and my 1-year-old saw that.
Somebody just came in your house.
Yeah. Your police just came right on in.
That makes just babies have a complex with the cops at the early age. Because then when they look on TV, all they see is people that look like them getting treated that way. And you look at the other race. They say,
that don't happen to them.
You pulled me over for, you know.
For sure.
I would say when we saying even when we're talking, you know, family, it's very important, right? You know, that we establish those understandings, right, in our family. Right. So if we say, okay, well, my role is to be the provider and protector, right? That's my role and responsibility. Now, if the woman say, hey, listen, my role is to be the help making, you know, make sure that I take care of the children. That's your role and responsibility.
Exactly.
So then that way we kind of build some understandings. And then also with the children, like they got priorities and roles and responsibilities too. Like, you know,
we used to call them chores.
Chores, right? Everybody play a part in this, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
if y'all supposed to perform in school well, you know, you got to perform in school well. If you know you're supposed to take the trash out, make sure you take the trash out. It's those type of things. And getting back to that structure, I think, you know, we used to sit down and eat at the dinner table. Like we was all a family and we used to talk about our day. We didn't have all these cell phones and we didn't take our meal to our room, right? We would one TV. We wouldn't even watch the TV at the dinner table. We had to sit at the dinner table. Yeah, for sure.
I heard about that. The TV didn't even stay on. All the
it didn't stay on.
was way back. Yeah, you the only one that remember. He the only one.
That was a little deep right there.
Though, yeah.
I used to wake up in the morning and watch the RPU commercials before I went to school all day. Like, man, listen, man, that's all I knew. RPU.
Right.
That one big floor model. I was glad when they got a color TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Seriously, man, my first TV was black and white. It was a 13-inch in my bedroom. I thought I hit the lottery. I was happy. 13-inch, had to get up there and turn like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You only had like 3 of them that worked.
Man, you don't even look like you old enough to remember all that. You don't even look like
You
that.
talking about playing with the antennas out there?
You got an older.
The first telephone I used, I had to stick my finger in the hole and.
Oh no! Yeah. The rotary phone.
Don't mess up on that number.
Oh yeah, you gotta start all over.
The area code and the phone number.
That's far back right there.
For sure. For sure. I remember the rotary.
Now I do remember when we had when I was little, we had AOL, we had the internet, right? And nobody couldn't pick up the phone when trying to get on.
Yeah. Hang up the phone.
Right?
Yeah.
Between 5 and 6.
For sure.
I remember that though, right? And it used to take so long to get on, right? It used to be like you be sitting there like about 10, 15, all the sound and stuff going on. But that's crazy how the transition. But I think we was more connected when we had very less technology and all that was going on, right? We ain't had nothing but each other. So our social media was us having conversation with each other.
Man, there's nothing there's nothing worse than me personally, I hate like, okay, it's my birthday or something or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Somebody got the nerve to text me or write it on my face. But man, what was we doing before it was a Facebook or before you could text me? You had to call me, man. Yeah. Call me, man. And that's the thing, that's kind of working against us. You know what I mean? In our community, because it definitely, man. It kind of desensitizes us almost.
You really do.
Know what I'm saying?
You really do.
To where it just, let me just post it or let me just.
Yeah, it really, I ain't gonna. My daughter was sending me a text from the other room.
Man, my son.
That is like something different. I said, why you could have came in and had me on this, right? But it's like, but that's what they own, right?
I was excited for call waiting.
That
was a big deal to me.
Yeah.
Oh man, you can see the number and got call waiting. You can click over.
Yeah,
that was a huge deal.
Yeah. Now that was big
when
right
they let
there.
you get the 3-way.
Yeah.
Two people on the phone.
Yeah.
You was back when they had the party line.
That was some futuristic Bill Gates stuff. Microsoft stuff to me.
So, question to you, brother. So, I like I said, I assist pastor in Flint. I'm not from Flint, but I'm pretty sure that there are some groups out there who are, in the neighborhoods, active as activists, trying to make some things happen. So, what are some of? Because I would definitely love to connect with those groups.
Well, we connected. And we definitely gonna lock in after this, man. Because whether it be in a water crisis, because that was a big thing for Flint. We still haven't, for one, man, no one has been held accountable. Right.
Nobody.
So when you talk about the origins of the water crisis, it was greed, right? Because we used to get our water from Detroit.
And they switched it over.
Yeah, man. They were trying to save a few coins. They would have never did that in another community because we know with the Flint River, GM dumped toxic and it was bodies and car parts, all that stuff in there. So that wouldn't be a source of water for us to drink.
And $300 million came with that through federal money from the government and all that. Then they turned around and gave it to the man who ain't never been held accountable, Snyder, the one who poisoned us, to allegate how our money was going to be spent. And it was millions of dollars. We just had a show about it a couple of weeks back that are completely unaccountable.
Oh,
accounted for, like,
I've seen a documentary something about that.
They just act like they don't know where it went.
For sure.
But it was a legal bonds deal, right? And it's all when we say greed.
Right.
Like the banking institution played a part in that too, right?
For sure.
They did illegal bond, and what they did was Flint was the biggest consumer of water, right, from Detroit. So if you want to go and unhook Detroit, how you unhook Detroit? You unhook the biggest, your biggest, consumer.
Right.
So which was Flint. And so what they did was they switched over to the water crisis. I mean, they switched it over to the Flint River, which the water was bad water, but they had dumped all those different terms to clean it and all that stuff in that solution, right? It made the whole contaminated. So it messed up not only the service lines coming from Detroit to Flint, which is 18,000, but then also everybody home lines too. So it's a two-part problem this. So we still dealing with the effects of it, and we want to make sure every time we have a conversation, everybody know like, no, Flint ain't fixed. Don't get it twisted about that settlement. That settlement was a sad excuse. That $642 million was not pouring that did not make a difference for people in Flint. We haven't even seen none of it yet.
I was about to say, how much does that even equate to per
Think about
household? Even if they did give it to you, how much would that have came out to?
In a city about 100,000 people, right? If you really do the math,
their lives is going to have medical expenses and everything.
Right.
But listen, if you do the math on $642 million on 100,000 people, think about it. You will see the type of numbers that come out. But then also the adults got left out. Now the money is more allocated to the children, which I agree the money should go to the children because they were impacted the most, right? That's why a lot of lead babies, you have people.
What if I have a child and I've been drinking the water just
that too, right? That too, right?
So it's still not fair.
It's still not fair. What we should have did as a community though, we should have put a price tag on our own lives instead of letting people decide that for us.
And then we also found out, remember the one that on the news that there was like a simple fix that didn't cost was a solution that they could have put in there that would have stopped it from eating the pipes, and they chose to bypass that process and let us drink the water anyway, knowing that they did that. They said it's something that would cost a couple $1 million, and they put it in the water and it would have stopped it from eating up the pipes. We've still been drinking Flint River water, which ain't no telling what General Motors did to it, because it was like a Buick City.
We should have never had that source as a water source for people.
The biggest plant in the world for how many years, DeJuan? And it ran alongside the Flint River. And my granddaddy told me stories of working in the city of illegal dump sites where they were just pouring out chemicals and all kinds of stuff. So
but they wouldn't have never done this in no other community. That's why I don't understand. They did it in a black community. Yeah. So that's why, and it was only because of the activists.
Exactly. Where else do you see the liquor stores at?
When everybody came to the city and brought money and brought bottles of water, it was the activists that put that on the forefront. So when you're talking about activism, activism is live here in Flint. So whether we activated about water, we activated about COVID, we activated about our school system being down. We active. We activated about them folks downtown who playing around with us. We got Harper dollars here. Ain't no money being allocated to none of these grassroots organizations. So we just own 10 about everything. So we be mad about everything. But we really, what we have to do is organize.
That's a good thing, though.
And once we organize and we be strategic about our plan, and we all follow suit. And then let me tell you this too, like the Montgomery boycott. I mean the Montgomery bus boycott. It took them 384 days, right, to stay committed to crippling the transportation system in the South.
Right.
We got to hit them where it hurt up here.
Right.
And we got to stay committed, not just for no month.
Right.
Not just for no couple. I'm talking all of us. Right.
Everybody.
We all have to be committed and stay consistent to following through on the plan.
Right.
And that's the only thing that I guess when we talking about as far as activism in Flint, that's what we continue to work on.
Okay.
We got some groups, man. We're gonna definitely sit down. We're gonna connect, and we're gonna be activated.
Sure.
And are you living here in Flint now?
No, I don't live.
So
I commute from Saginaw.
You come here from Saginaw?
I want to make sure that I'm, a part of the community.
There you go. So we got a number of different events, different conversations taking place. So we just gonna be tapping in and sending you all the information. So however you want to come out, support, and be a part of it, you down. Both of y'all,
for sure.
Right? All you, right? Yes, sir.
For sure. Yes,
sir. I appreciate, man. And we gotta do this again too, man. I know, I know you got your family in it, so I know y'all definitely want to get comfortable.
I'm already comfortable. Man. I'm comfortable here in Fli-City, man.
You see, all right.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
I'm telling you, we appreciate y'all brothers coming on now. And if there's any last words y'all want to, anything y'all got going on, tell us. Make some last announcements or what have you. Got something going on with the church at? How we can come out and support the event tomorrow, right?
Okay.
Lay it down for us.
Yeah. So once again, we located at 222 Edmond Street. We have our last day to our annual program tomorrow, Sunday, where we're going to have our assistant overseer, Bishop J.R. Carswell. He's going to be preaching the word that Sunday morning. And then our king, Bishop Bobby Joe Davis, is going to be delivering the word that Sunday evening, and it's going to be a great time. We Israel knows how to do effectively. Well, we know how to do a lot of things effectively, but the one thing we love and like to do is to come together and in the name of the great and mighty God of Israel and have us a good time. So we definitely love and definitely appreciate if whomever can come out and support us.
And listen, I told Brother Jew, man, me and Brother Jew, we locked in, man. They always come on down, man. They was just down here, him trick. We was doing getting people out there to get out there to vote type situation. Just having a real conversation in the street on you know, real brothers, right? The people we need to be reaching.
Right.
Right.
We need to continue to take this conversation out here.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
So I'm gonna tap in tomorrow. We definitely encourage y'all to come out to 3332 Edmond Street tomorrow. 222.
Yeah, 222.
222. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
222 Edmond Street. I like that vibe, right? Make sure y'all come on out, man. Start at 5:00.
Sunday morning. Well, if you want to, we got Sunday school at 9:00.
I'm sorry.
And we got our afternoon service at 11, and then we have our evening service at 5:00.
Okay, got you, man.
So if you're not a morning person, we got our 5:00 service.
Right, man. Yeah. So I'm tapping in definitely. I'll be out there. So
greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
If you y'all come on through, man, and I'm gonna bring some of the young brothers too, man. We're gonna come on out, man. Yeah, and we're gonna be locked in and support, man. And I'll be out there in the D. I used to live out there, for 10 years. I used to do music out there, so definitely, man. A lot of brothers in the family out there as well. So
yeah, I'm definitely
I'm tapping in with
you for sure.
Yeah. And Jewell, man, definitely was nice meeting you too, brother, man. Very deep dude, man, and conscious and concise, man. I respect that. Big shout out to Brother Jew, man, for always being a light beam and a light for the communities alike, man. So, man, and just connecting all these situations together, man. So, man, much love to each and every one of you,
much
brother.
love.
I love the conversation we had today, man. I was fed.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, man, we just need more of that. So let's keep that on the flow. I'm gonna make sure y'all tap into the show because you had a lot of brothers who coming out. They was talking on here while y'all was talking.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm gonna give y'all the link so you can be able to check it out when you sit down and kind of answer some questions.
For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Cool.
For sure.
So man, definitely, man, this was a phenomenal, inspiring conversation with our brothers, man, on Fli-City Blackout. Say the name of the church again.
Spiritual Israel Church in this army.
Okay. So we're gonna be there tomorrow. He gave the times. He's gonna provide the times in the chat again. So if you can make any one of those services or all three, right? We definitely want to make sure that we stay spiritually strong, man, and connected to a higher power than ourselves, right? So, man.
One last thing.
Yes, sir.
I want to give a shout out to my wife.
Of course.
My wife, China Baker of 11 years.
Come on, man. Make some noise for that.
Give a shout out for her.
Come on, baby. Come on. This is a good brother, man. Man, I know he stands strong on what he believes in, and he definitely everything that he represents. So, man, let's continue to keep building more. I think, man, let's make it happen. So, we're gonna turn it down for the night, man. We're gonna definitely bring this whole group back again, right here in the future. And we got a lot more projects on the way. So, man, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel Fli-City Blackout. Also make sure you subscribe to. You got folks just tapping in and appreciate everybody who just came out, listen to the conversation. You got anything to add? Please join in the chat. The brothers are joining in the chat once they wrap up for the night. But nevertheless, man, it's all peace and love, as my brother Jewell Jones always says, man. Love. And we're gonna tap back in with y'all very soon. Yeah. So, man, we do a blackout when we closing it out. So, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Blacking out.
Blackout.
Blacking out.